All right, how are you devils? How we doing today? Happy Friday. Here we are, July 5th. And it's kind of interesting in the polling today. You guys were looking for pairs that I'm watching or have been stalking or currently trading. So I thought I'd share a few that are on my watch list. One that I've been watching for a while, one that just hit today, and then I guess by popular request, we'll take a look at Bitcoin and do an update on that as well. Now, before we get into this, I want to just point this out for any of you watching on YouTube. We do have this promo going for this weekend. We'll run it through Sunday night. So you've got some discount opportunities here for our Trade Devils University membership. 25%. The best deal here is the 25% off on the 4-month membership. But then we're also offering 15% off on all of the others as well through the weekend. But now you will need to come over to our Twitter page and get this with these little codes when you're going through the checkout process. There'll be a spot to enter those codes, right? So you want to get those right on our Twitter page. You can find it very easily. Okay, so that said, I'm back here to Dash. Now it's just I have a fondness for this project. Not just based on how well it treated me in 2017, but I think it's going to be one of the major transactional cryptos. So I think it's one to always keep an eye on. Now, it also happens to be one of the prettiest Elliott counts across all of the alts. It's just hard to miss this one. So just pulling. Now, I am trading this on Poloniex. It's funny, we don't look at Polo much. I still keep some capital there for trading. I don't know why it seems to have fallen out of favor. Binance just seems to dominate now, but Polo's still very, very active, and I keep an eye on a number of alts over there. So I am trading this on Poloniex. Now this is, so I've got an 8-hour here. This is Dash to the dollar tether. So we can just pull out and get some perspective here. We've been through the down count so many times here. I'm just going to spare us to that. The assumption being that we have our low here and we're starting. So the correction low is in, and we're starting off on what at this point appears to be a legitimate trend change, although we're not completely out of the woods yet. So, as is always the case here, we're looking for the resistance. So we got plenty of pivots to work with coming back. So one of the first things I'm looking for is can I spot algo footprints? So this one is just screaming at you right here. So you can see. You can just you'll get to the point where you can just eyeball these. So I could see that right away. So here's the golden zone. So swing low. ABC, we tag the golden zone. Now we get a little pause here at first target. We don't get the precision on second target, and that may be tied. There may be something else happening on a smaller time frame or even a larger time frame. But what I'm trying to get to is to show you that, let's see what I want. I want this. So this pivot here, this pivot, and this pivot are all important. So these are critical in terms of identifying where we're likely to run into resistance. So having identified that we can see an algorithm use that. So now if I pull down to the absolute low here, now looking here, so if we go to the first pivot where we went to the 786, we're through the 6.5. So I go back to this one, and then knowing that it was used, I come back here. And so here we sit between the 50 and the 618, right where you're anticipating that resistance. Now, of course, doesn't mean we can't get through it, but that does mean there's likely software that's started selling here, right, that will continue to sell with that as its target until we either break the 65 or they get their target. So if that breaks, then the next thing, they'll go to the next dominant, which will be right here. So we got plenty of upside here to get through all of this. And of course, there's multiple pivots all the way to the absolute top. So with that established here, and this being fairly obvious that we're bumping into this zone of resistance here, knowing we got to get through that. So one thing you might do is I will often put an alert. Excuse me. I'll put an alert on the other side of the 65. So if this starts to change, I don't want to miss that. So I won't do that here just to not pollute the chart here with any kind. Now this move off of the low, this is, if you're an Elliott trader, this is what you hope to spot, right? You don't always get it this laid out this nicely for you. So on the assumption that we've got a 1-2 tracking much like most of the majors. Let me open this up here. This looks like that's too small here. Let's get it so you guys can see it a little better. There we go. Okay. So 1, 2. Now so at first, when you first bring it up, you're tempted to. God darn it. So sorry. You're tempted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, but you got to work through that subdivision. It doesn't quite work. So while this is long enough, so this would have been tempting right off the bat. So length of the 1 projected from the 2. Here's our high probability zone for the 3. So it would have been easy to be thinking at that point, right? Okay, 1, 2. There's my 3. I got a little, not the cleanest subdivision here. If you're going 1, 2, 1, 2. The 3, 4, there's not much of a 5 there. You're coming down here. So you would easily, you can see it, right? You can see, oh, you're thinking 3's here, 4's in. There's the 5. Oh. So that's just a good example of how wave counts they're dynamic. They change as the market reveals more information to us. So while this is absolutely where you, me, anyone who knows that relationship would have planted that third upon seeing this, and then seeing us not overlap the 1. There's no doubt this is what you'd been looking for, thinking, oh, okay, I've got my impulse off the low. Down we come, ABC. But this wouldn't make as much sense. So if we go from the low to the pivot here, well, we don't even make the 38. Excuse me. And you see the Vegas wave. Look how into the lips, right? Holds it, and then up we go. So it brings you back to this, going, I gotta rethink that. So with that off, so sorry. We can see here now the length of the 1. We've come up here and we've gotten through the 2, 6, 1, 8. So you got to put all of this back here. So you have to revisit this count. I think this is over here. And say, well, is there another way to count this? If this isn't going to be the 3, 4, 5 because I've got another kicker here, well, where am I? Does the subdivision support an alternate count here that would accommodate this new high? Well, conveniently, yep, it's pretty easy to spot. 1, 2, 1, 2. See, if you were trying to get the 1, 2, the third to be here, well, this 1, 2 would have been, see, the 5, there's just no 5 there. So already this would have been one of those areas where you've seen me do this before where I'll just kind of wick that off and go, if this count gets gets invalidated or we have to reconsider it, this is likely the spot that I'm going to come back to, because there really is barely a 5 there. And you'd have to allow for a slight truncation in the 5. It just immediately was suspect. So, but I think we do have to allow for it as the 1, 2, because we need here the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we still have to live with that shitty 5, but it's on a lower degree. So I think perhaps less impactful. So 4, 5 here. Let's get that. And we'll go to white here so we can see. So we still need to use that to finish this here. So 1, so you can see the subdivision. So 1, 2, oh shit. Well, that's all right. You can see it. 3, ABC into the 4, but it's happening on a lower degree. All right, so this comes up here, becomes the ABC of the 4 at the higher degree. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the 5. So you can see here, we likely, assuming that we've got our pivot here, until we can't really. We'd have to. The possibility here is that there can be another kicker on this. This could be the 1, 2 of the 5th, and the 5th. Oh shit. 5th is going to be higher. We can't eliminate that possibility until we break this low, because technically we still are internal. See what I'm saying here? So from low to high, we're still within an internal retracement. So the possibility that this goes 1, you can see the little ABC is there, that we could go 1, 2, and we could have an extension in the 5th. Right, so can't eliminate that. And then we can just looking at our typical wave relationships, length of the 1 projected from the proposed 4. Well, we do have 100% here, but the algo, you can just see it here. So from the 2 to the 3, right? So coming down here, we're right where we're looking for it, between the 23 and the 38. That's right where we want to see our wave 4, and you can see this structure came into play here. Right, you see as we bounce back to those prior pivots. So this was helpful to us as the 3. We come to that structure, hold, rip higher. So you're thinking ABC into the 4. Well, yeah, again, could be 1, 2, but we don't make the algo target here from this pivot. We're not. It's up here. So you're a little bit suspect of this. So thus the possibility that we've gone 1, 2 here of course, it could be just a three wave. We're in the start of the correction, right? Which is what I think is potentially, now barring the surprise here, if we do this and then come down here, now that starts to make more sense as a 2, right? But this would actually need to be up at our pivot. So the 2 would be down here. So let's get this off here. All right, so this, I guess we can move that. All right, so the broader point I'm trying to make here is how technically this is trading, which attracts my attention. So if this is 4 and I don't know if this 5 is in yet or if I'm going to have an extension, right now as I sit here looking at this, I'm making the assumption that the 5 is in. I can get the subdivision there. It's not, shit, I'm on an 8-hour. It's not gorgeous, but it's there. So if well, let's crunch this up a little bit. So you can, excuse me. Oh, 1, 2, looks like you'd have to go, you're going to have to use a diagonal there. So you're going to have to go 3, 4, 5 to get that to complete up here. Let's get that in. So 1, 2, 1, 2, looks like you're going to have to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's ugly. Yeah, let's just measure something real quick. All right, so from the low to the proposed 1, 2. So here's my high probability zone. Although we did, boy, that's a stretch. You'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you might be able to do it this way. Little triangle in the, well, looks like a bit of a triangle here in the 4, and then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the 5th. So I think that may play better. Although this is that ain't pretty. Let's wick off that 1. So you're going to have to work this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 3. It's ugly. But so you see the way I'm doing that, you have to go, this would have to be 3, 4 at that degree. So then you're again with a skinny 5. And then it looks like you've got a little, a bit of a triangle goes in here. Get this back up here. So it looks like that's our 4 before we go in here and take from that triangle, then 1, 2, it's skinny, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, gives me the 5. So I've got enough here. I'd probably do this as well, just to kind of tighten that up. So to confirm, so if we're going to come back up from the upper side, now coming down here, A, B, yeah, it could be done. So we don't know. Are we getting started on a flat, or is this a WXY and we've got the ABC is in? You can't tell the difference at the moment. So right now it's a function of waiting to see what comes next. So it wouldn't make sense for this to be the pivot here of the 2 at the larger degree. So if we come back here, not that it's not possible. That's again always, that's never what I'm saying. It's just where's the probability zone? Probability zone we're after is down here. Right? That's the next buy zone that we're looking for. So if this is going to come down, well, how does it get there? And that's kind of what you're trying to put together. So, well, potentially there could be a little diagonal getting started here. So you could have 3, 4, 5, but it doesn't look great. So it looks more like an ABC is likely in. So again, WXY, or we're going to go into a 3, 3, 5. So we have, how do you know? Well, you don't know until you see how this resolves. Do we get 3 here and then 5 here? And we'll have to wait and see. And let's see, is there a 2 in there? Boy, that would be a stretch. So right now, I think you got to stick with this. You got to stay nice double top here. So just looking at that, I can tell you that's technical. All right, so we in between the 50 and the 618. Now target remains unrealized, so looking now, remember always guys, it just continues. All right, so here's golden zone. So now we're stacking targets. Okay, just what we like to see. All right, so we get a high degree, come here. Trading view, often so many clicks to get the same thing to happen. Okay, so 1, 2, so I can see the straight algo plate. Rip, retrace, short sell. No target. Rip, retrace, they take the next one. Here's that's 2 ticks into the golden zone just to get inside, and now that target is coming down. You can see it. Right? So that's got that target. All right, well, if we complete that, what have we got there? Right, it's a little tricky here. So is this going to be A, B? It wouldn't be much of an X if you're on the assumption that the ABC is in here. Now coming back the other way, I'd be willing to bet you we've got the same thing happening on this side, right? So we put up here golden zone to golden zone, right? Same shit, guys. Every day, every chart, every time frame, it's always the same, right? They all trade exactly the same way. So here's gold. I hadn't even been through those yet. Golden zone to golden zone. Right, it's just we're having just a little fib fight in here. So who wins it? Why? No way to know here who wins this. So you have to back up here and go, okay, what's most likely given where I think I am in the count? Well, if this is going to come down here, I got to say I don't love the idea of trying to fit this as a motive wave. The symmetry is totally askew to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just that doesn't work. So to tell you the truth, this would be easier to get to count if we come up and get this. Right? If this algorithm here that bought at this golden zone gets its target, because then I've got a little 3-wave here. So what I'd like to see, if it's going to cooperate here, I'd like to see this. It could go higher. We could get second target. I want to see 3 here, so that I know that I'm correcting something here. So if this ABC, if this dominant high to low, well, let's get the whole thing in here. Well, I've got that already. So if I've got, let's get the whole thing here. Okay, so if remember, we know this is a pattern that they like, right? This alternating, right? I mention that to you guys all the time. So this is just what I'm looking for, because I know that that's high probability that there's going to be software kicking in here to sell in this range, right? Now, where's that target? That target is down here. So I'm getting closer to my buy zone that I'm after. All right, we don't have to get there, but this is what I'm looking for. So second target would split it. So then I start putting together a little roadmap and say, okay, if we're going to go there, how are we going to get there? Right. So again, I don't have this here, but I'm searching for that. I want to find this pivot. First thing, we got to go up. Right, so that's the first thing that has to happen. This 6-5 needs to hold. We got to go up, test this one, and now we set this up. Now, is this going to happen too quickly? Well, we might have to go to a modifier. Right, we could do it this way. Again, since I don't have this, we could do it something like this. So maybe there's we're coming down lower here, the timeline. Yeah, it could be here. We don't know. Right, so we're trying to get. So that would put July 19th. I could see that. Right, that works. So let's pull back out and see if we can put the whole thing back together. See if we can make it make sense. I'm trying to create a roadmap. I want to buy it here. How do I get there? How am I going to get there if it's going to stay consistent with what I'm interpreting in terms of the Elliott structure and the last algo play? How am I going to get here? Well, so the first caveat is if I've completed the 1 up here. So let's put the whole thing together. If this is the 1 and this is going to be the 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's get that up to intermediate. Oh, put it, what have we not used? We'll put it in green. Okay, so if that's my 1, I'm seeking my second here. This is the trade. This is why I'm watching Dash. This is what, with you guys asking what I'm trading, this is what I'm looking for, because this is the trade I want. All right, that would be, so that's something that I would be fairly aggressive on. If I can get this to set up this way, and because I'm a long-term bull on this and would likely be looking for something that I could just stash and hang on to, as in a longer-term hold, then I'm stalking this. I just want, give me a nice setup coming down here, and this is an absolute must-take for me. Now, coming off the low, let's see. Pardon me, I've got to get this back one. One of you guys caught me on this the other day. I didn't change the count enough, but occasionally as I'm moving these around, I'll miss the pullback 1 pivot. Okay, so if this is completed impulse, that's the first assumption being made here, which can be invalidated. If this has one more kick up, then I got to revisit. Remember, this could be the 1-2 here, and we're going to get an extension in the 5th. But right now, the entire trade is based on the idea that the 1 pivot is in. Thus, I'm looking for the buy at the 50. Now, let's clear this up a little bit. Okay, if we come down into this range, and I can get that, so of course that's going to set up the potential here for something along these lines, and we buy at the 50. So I would have that potential corner pocket, but given the angle and how steep that is, so let's go 8 hours. So you start looking, okay, where is that target? So that target is up here. Now does that, now we're going out, we're going way, way, way out here. So that may not be the framing that's best suited to this. I may want something with a little more upside here, and I don't have anything else to work with other than my 2. So just something to keep in mind. It may be that this is a better play to be drawing up channel like this and then perhaps doubling that channel. You guys have seen me do this. So we would clone that channel and then I would take it up to something like this. Okay, so now I get the initial framing from the market. Now I'm pushing up here for something like that. So now I'm trying to get the whole thing together. There's the roadmap that I'm trying to get, that I'm trying to participate in. Can I come down here and buy it down here? I would give that plenty of room myself, right? So here's exactly how I intend to do it. I'm going to start likely a little front run on the 50. I will continue to add just exactly like an algorithm would. I'll continue to add right down to the 618, and I'll keep my stop. Now note here, do you see the one wave pivot? Look where the 65 lines up. So my stop's right underneath that 65. And I'm willing to add more aggressively at the golden zone because the stop is so close. So if I can get the precision here of the turn, then I've got a, what's the risk reward there? Right? It's a nice looking trade. So I'll split the difference here on the assumption that we get a split fill. Stop underneath. Here's my wave 3 target. 13 to 1. A little more if we're going to get up there. What do we got there? 13.5 to 1. That's what I'm watching. Now I will wait patiently for that, right? I won't force anything. I'm just going to wait for this to set up. Now, if it doesn't happen, and as I showed you, if that's going to be a 1-2, and we're going to get an extension, and I know you can't see it in there, but if we're going to get an extension in the 5th, well, then the whole thing just moves up, right? And then now I'm up here going, oh, we got an extension in the 5th. 5th is running. I'm still looking for that next 50. But right now, if it's going to give it to me here, well, thank you very much. Okay, there you go. So that's one I think absolutely should be on your watch list. It's absolutely on mine. Okay, guys, there you go. I'll be back. We'll do a couple more today. And just as a reminder, don't forget about our little promo that we have going on over here. All right, pretty good deal. That the 4 month at 25% off. That's a good one. All right, guys, back to you later.